What's going on, folks? I'd just like to get straight into the video. 2 days ago, while I was making my original video, the narrator, one of CallMeCarson's old friends, came out with a statement claiming that Carson had sabotaged his career, and after watching the video, the evidence is damning enough for me to believe he did. For those of you who didn't know, CallMeCarson, Raccoon Eggs, and Narrator were on a podcast together in their early stages of YouTube, called the Solitary Confinement Podcast. This spanned from January of 2017 to June of 2018. This was a podcast styled around mostly interviewing fellow YouTubers such as Fitz and Swagger Souls at the time, on top of footage of them playing online solitaire. In July of 2018, Carson hijacked the Twitter without the consent of Narrator or Raccoon Eggs, and posted on Twitter, "Info the state of the podcast coming soon." Carson then came out with a video on the SCP channel titled "SCP is Dead." Carson stated in that video that it is his fault that the podcast is breaking up, but he said the only reason why he wanted to break it up is because he believed that the narrator was a terrible person. Carson stated that this had stemmed from their time at VidCon 2018. By the way he explained the story, a lot of details were left out, so here is a clip of Narrator explaining what happened. Again, I cannot post the whole video because it is an hour long, but if you want the full statement, the link is in the description. I implore you to check it out.
We wake up and I'm starting to panic a bit again because we can't really afford to stay in, well, at least I couldn't. I didn't know about their financial situations. I don't know about their financial situation. I'm not that kind of guy, but we were all small, poor. So I was panicking because I can't afford a new flight home. I'm already here. Like, what the fuck's going on? So I was having a manic episode basically right when I woke up. And this goes back to some of the, if you're an SCP listener and you liked the Solitary Confinement podcast, any of those times that I was having a mental breakdown, like in the podcast, the thing with it there is that I was in a safe space. I was in my room. It was fine. I could leave. I could walk away, whatever. We can make a joke about it. It's fine. But when you're in that situation, and they had known because we had done the podcast for about a year and a half, maybe 2 years, and we were very good friends. So they knew full well the shit that I was going through. Because I was going through a lot of shit, and I hadn't been officially diagnosed with BPD yet. I had just had MDD. So the doctors didn't even really know why I was going through these manic episodes. But they had known about this kind of shit. And when I say Carson doesn't turn off, he doesn't. And when you're having a manic episode and you're just being harassed constantly, think about it like this. This is the best way I can sum it up for you guys. Think about when your dad comes into your room and he's like reminding you, hey, do this and this and this, and you're like, okay, I got it. And then he gets mad at you, so he keeps doing it and he keeps reminding you, and it makes you mad because it's like, I get it, and he gets annoying, and then eventually you might just start yelling and shit like that. But that annoyance right there, multiply that by 1,000. And that's the situation that I was in, because I was stressing out and Carson was just making fun of me. And he was poking me and prodding me and just instigating me in a manic state just to go more and more. And just to get further onto the edge. And Ezra, I've already forgiven him for this, but Ezra kind of has it's in his character to kind of at least first joke, because Raccoon Eggs is one of the funniest people that I know. And so at first he didn't know that I was joking, because sometimes I do play it off as a bit, but there are ways that you can know when I'm legitimately having an episode. And once he picked it up, he stopped. Carson didn't. He kept going. And then Ultrive comes into the room. And Ultrive, I can't remember exactly what happened because I kind of went into tunnel vision and I was extremely mad. But Ultrive doesn't really help this situation. Now, it could just be because Carson had been poking and prodding me that I was in an irrational state of mind that nothing anybody said could have calmed me down. And this is where I fucked up majorly, and this is, and I'll get back to this later as to why I thought I was alone in my experience with Carson. But, Ultrive had gotten me to the point where I had tried to get physical. And thankfully, I wasn't able to do anything. I was held back. But in that hotel room, and I'll never forget trying to fucking punch Altrive to shut him up. And then I ended up punching the wall. It's fine. It was a Motel 6.
This puts a new perspective on the way that the story was told. Who is the real terrible person here? Someone who bullied a person in a manic state 2,000 miles away from his home? Or someone who lashed out under constant harassment? And why does this matter, you may be asking yourself? How does this prove that Carson deliberately sabotaged Narrator's career? Carson had just blown up around this time, with videos like invading Discord servers exploding into everybody's recommended. When somebody is this red hot and brand new, most viewers have no reason to believe that Carson was lying to them about what had really happened at VidCon. This influenced viewers to stay away from the Narrator. This is what Carson wanted for Narrator, to fade into obscurity, which unfortunately happened. Adding CallMeCarson and Raccoon Eggs' sub count together, they have amassed over 5 million subscribers, while Narrator is yet to hit 100k. This not only proves that Carson had the capacity to abuse his friends, this also proved that Carson had the capacity to abuse his fans. In conclusion, the CallMeCarson you see behind the camera is the Carson you see in real life. The same Carson who wanted to take over SCP and establish more of a following after what had transpired at VidCon. Carson was willing to get more people on his side, even if that meant betraying and sabotaging his friend. This is one of many new developments in the CallMeCarson allegations. I'd also like to take this time to address something else. Jay Schlatt, aka Schlatt, one of Carson's former friends, made an excellent statement about the mindset of Carson and his point of view on the events that unfolded. I implore you to check that out as well. So I just want to say it. You guys killed it with the support on my initial video on Carson. I was not expecting to even get 50 views, and you guys blew it out of the water. I can't believe it hit 200 views. That was probably one of the proudest moments of my life, and I thank you guys so much for it. Everybody left to subscribe. Everybody left to comment. I cannot explain how grateful I am for you guys. So thank you so much. Peace, love, Mac DeMarco.